morning students, welcome once again to online video class conducted by PCHSS Baripadar. So today I am going to discuss you about a new segment and new topics from the chapters called organisms and populations from botany. Okay, so what is ecological adaptation? The topic name is ecological adaptation. Ecological adaptation. So what is ecological adaptation? Ecological adaptation are the evolutionary process where an organisms enable to survive, reproduce in a habitat. It's called ecological adaptation. Ecological adaptation are the evolutionary process where organisms enable to survive, reproduce in a habitat. Okay. So in ecological adaptations, so in case of plants, adaptations, ecological adaptation of plants are of three types: hydrophytes, mesophytes, xerophytes. Okay, hydrophytes, mesophytes, xerophytes. Now, what is called hydrophytes? Hydrophytes are the plants which are able to adapt in aquatic conditions are called hydrophytes. What are called hydrophytes? Hydrophytes are the plants. Hydrophytes are the plants which are adapted to live in aquatic conditions, in aquatic habitat conditions. Okay, so hydrophytes are the plants which are adapted to live in aquatic habitat. Okay, are called hydrophytes. Now hydrophytes are again classified into three types: submerged hydrophytes. How many hydrophytes are there? Three types: submerged hydrophytes, okay, submerged hydrophytes, floating hydrophytes, and aerial hydrophytes. Hydrophytes are the plants which are adapted to live in aquatic habitat. First one is submerged hydrophytes. Submerged hydrophytes. Number two, floating hydrophytes. Floating hydrophytes. Number three, amphibious hydrophytes. Amphibious hydrophytes. Okay. What are the difference between submerged hydrophytes, floating hydrophytes, and amphibious hydrophytes? Submerged hydrophytes means the plants which are remains in the water. The plants which grows in the water, inside the water, they are called what? No, submerged hydrophytes. Okay. So submerged hydrophytes are the plants which grow in water. In water are called submerged hydrophytes. Examples of submerged hydrophytes. Are Hydrilla, remember it, Hydrilla and Vallisneria. Okay, so submerged hydrophytes, plants which grows in water are called what? No, submerged hydrophytes. Examples are Hydrilla and Vallisneria. It is very easy to remember it. Now floating hydrophytes. The plants which it remains which it grows partially inside the water as well as above the surface of water. So that kind of hydrophytes are called floating hydrophytes. The plants which grows partially inside the water as well as on the surface of water are called floating hydrophytes. Plants which grows partially inside or outside the surface of water. The surface of water are called floating hydrophytes. Example, floating hydrophyte. Example of floating hydrophytes are water hyacinth. The scientific and the botanical name of water hyacinth is Eichonia crassipes. Okay, Eichonia, EICHORNIA, EICHHORNIA, Eichonia crassipes. Nelumbium speciosum, that is lotus. Nelumbium speciosum. These are the botanical name of the following species which I have mentioned. So which I have mentioned you. Now Nelumbium speciosum is lotus, Eichonia crassipes is water hyacinth, and Nymphea and water lily. Nymphea. Nymphea, that is water lily. Nymphea, water lily. Okay. So floating hydrophyte. Plants which grows partially inside or outside the surface of water are called floating hydrophytes. That is, examples are Eichonia crassipes, Nelumbium speciosum, and Nymphea, which is called water lily. Now amphibious hydrophytes. So these are the plants where the lower parts of the branches, get sink into the water, and the somewhat parts of the branches which it remains in the plants are grows at the aerial part are called what? No, amphibious hydrophytes. Amphibious hydrophytes are the plants where the lower part of the branch gets sink inside the water, whereas the other remaining portion of the branch grows at the aerial part. Such kind of plants are called amphibious hydrophytes. Now, amphibious hydrophytes, examples of amphibious hydrophytes are Sagittaria and Trappa. Okay, so these are the amphibious hydrophytes. So hydrophytes are the plants which are adapted to live in aquatic habitats. Submerged hydrophytes are the floating hydrophytes and amphibious hydrophytes. Now, after the completions of these submerged hydrophyte, floating hydrophyte, amphibious hydrophytes, on the basis of the adaptations, ecological adaptations are based on two types. One is morphological adaptation and another one is anatomical adaptations. Okay, on the basis of the adaptations of hydrophytes, it is classified into two types: morphological adaptations and anatomical adaptations. Now, today I am going to explain that one. On the basis of the adaptations, hydrophytes are classified into two types of adaptation. Adaptations. Morphological adaptations and anatomical adaptations. Morphological adaptations and anatomical adaptation. adaptation. So what happens in morphological and anatomical adaptation? So morphological adaptation, first we have to check the stem, so first we have to check the root. Now morphological adaptation, first is root, second is stem, number C is leaves. Okay, root, stem and leaves. Morphological adaptation, as we know in the plants, so morphological characters are what? The root, stem and leaf. Now first, in case of root of aquatic plants or hydrophytes, the root are first point, most of the aquatic plants does not possess roots. Okay, like examples are Pulpia. Which kind of plants? Pulpia. Pulpia is what? It is the smallest angiosperm. As well as it is what? No, aquatic. Pulpia is the smallest angiosperm. Remember it. Pulpia. Most of the aquatic plant does not possess roots. Number 2. In some aquatic plants, instead of main root, adventitious roots are present. Adventitious roots are present. Example, Jussea. Which plant? Jussea. Okay. Next. In case of Nymphaea, that is what? Water lily. In Nymphaea, which plant? Nymphaea, root hairs are absent. These are the roots. Okay, morphological adaptation. Most of the aquatic plant does not possess roots. Which plant does not possess roots? Pulpia, that is smallest angiosperm. In some aquatic plants, instead of main root, adventitious roots are present. In which plant? The examples of that particular plant is what? Jussea, and another one is what? In Nymphaea. Nymphaea, root hairs are absent. Okay, these are the morphological adaptation of root. Next is stem. Number 2, stem. So stem is soft and spongy. With offset. It is the sub-aerial modification of stem. The sub-aerial modification of stem, that is what? The offsetting. Which plant does this offset possess? Like Echomia crassipes, okay, Echomia crassipes and Typha. So these are the plants are concerned to offset. As we know, offset is the sub-aerial modification of stem. Now, root is over, stem is over. Now is left leaves. What happens in the aquatic plant? So what are the characters does the aquatic plant possess to leaves? What are the characters of leaves of aquatic plants? Now, in submerged plant the leaves are narrower, whereas the floating plants, the leaves are broader. What is the difference between the plants of the submerged plant and the floating plant concerned to leaves? Okay, the leaves of the submerged plants are narrower, whereas the leaves of the floating plants are broader. Leaves. In submerged plants, leaves are narrower. Remember it. Narrower. In submerged plant, leaves are narrower, but in case of floating plants, leaves are broader. Okay. Now leaves. In summer plant leaves are narrower, but in case of floating plant leaves are broader. As for example, I am giving you the summer plant like water leaves, or in summer plant like hydrilla. Hydrilla and vallisneria. Hydrilla and vallisneria having a very small leaf, but in case of lotus or nymphaea, or echonia, the leaves are broader. Okay. So the morphological adaptation of roots, stem and leaves are over. Now in case of anatomical adaptations, what happens in anatomical adaptations? So 5 parts of the plants are referred to be as what? Anatomical adaptations. First one is epidermis. Number 2, stomata. Number 3, parenchyma. Number 4, not well developed conducting tissue. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Epidermis, stomata, parenchyma, not well developed conducting tissue, that is xylem and phloem. Now, morphological adaptation is over, which is root, stem and leaves. First your mind, while you studying about the morphological adaptation in case of plant, first the 3 things which you have to know, that is what? Root, stem and leaves. Okay? Root, stem and leaves are over of morphological adaptation, and in anatomical adaptation. What is anatomical adaptation? The inner part of the plants referred to be as what? Anatomy. Anatomical adaptations are related to 4 different types of parts which is present in the plant. First one is epidermis, second one is stomata, third is parenchyma, and fourth is what? Conducting tissues. As we know, conducting tissues are xylem and phloem, which are not well developed in what? Aquatic plants of hydrophytes. So anatomical adaptations. Anatomical adaptation, first one is epidermis. As we know, what is epidermis? Epidermis is the outermost layer of the part of the plant. That is called what? Epidermis. Epidermis, it is mostly present in leaves, roots, stems, and everywhere. Okay? Epidermis. Now first, epidermis is not well developed. In case of hydrophyte plant, epidermis is not well developed, and it is very thin, Now, it is very thin. As it is very thin, in case of submerged plant, helps to absorb the nutrients and gases. Okay? Epidermis is not well developed, and it is very thin, as it is very thin, in case of submerged plants help to absorb the nutrients and gases from the water. Which one? Epidermis. Number 2, cuticle. Cuticle is not well developed in submerged plant. However, it is partially developed in floating plants. As we know, cuticle is present on the surface of the leaf. In which part of the leaf? At the upper layer of the leaves. Which part is present? That is called a cuticle. Cuticle is present on the upper surface of the leaf. But in case of submerged plant, cuticle is not well developed. But in case of floating plants, cuticle is somewhat present on the surface of the leaf. And which part of the leaf? The upper layer of the leaf. Which layer? Upper layer of the leaf. Cuticle is abundant, but at the lower surface, cuticle is absent. In which case of plant? That is what? No, floating plants. Which plant? That is floating plants of hydrophytes. Okay, cuticle is not well developed in submerged plant, but in floating plants at upper surface cuticle is present. Now, number 3, at epidermis of leaves and stem, palisade cells are present. On the surface of leaves, on the surface of leaves of floating plants. Okay. Now, these are the epidermis. Epidermis is not well developed in which case? In hydrophytes plant. Epidermis is not well developed and it is very thin. As it is very thin in case of submerged plant, helps to absorb the nutrient and gases from the water. Cuticle is not well developed in submerged plant, but in floating plants. But in case of floating plants, at upper surface cuticle is present. At epidermis of leaves and stem, palisade cells are present on the surface of leaves of floating plants. Okay, which helps for what? Photosynthesis. Palisades parenchyma. Now, epidermis is over. Next is stomata. Number 2 is stomata of anatomical adaptation. Number 2, stomata. Remember it. In submerged plant, stomata are absent. But in case of floating plants, stomata are present on the upper surface of the leaf, but it is absent at the lower surface of the leaf. In which kind of plant? That is floating plant. As in generally, the stomata are abundant in the abaxial region. That is what the lower surface of the leaf in the mesophytes plants. But in case of floating hydrophytes, stomata are abundant on the surface of the upper surface of the leaf, not on the lower surface of the. As generally we know that the stomata are present at the lower surface of the leaf. That is called abaxial region. But in case of floating plants, stomata are present at the adaxial region. Which region? That is called the upper surface of the leaf, and that kind of stomata are said to be epistomatic. What it is called? It is called epistomatic. But in case of submerged plant, stomata are absent. As in examples of the stomata-less plants are Hydrilla, Vallisneria. Okay. Now, if you will be asking me about that. If there is no stomata in submerged plant, then how do they absorb the gases? They will absorb the gases through the epidermis, which is present on the leaves. Okay, there is no stomata. Remember, there is no stomata in the submerged plant. But in case of floating plants at the adaxial region, that is on the upper surface of the leaf, stomata are abundant. But at the lower surface, there is no stomata. And such kind of floating plants of stomata having partial leaf is called what? Epistomatic. What it is called? It is called epistomatic. Remember it. Now, stomata. In submerged plants, stomata are absent. Okay. Number 2. In floating plant, in submerged plants, stomata are absent. The gaseous exchange takes place the epidermis, through the epidermis of the part of the plant, of the part of the submerged plant. Okay, in submerged plant. But in case of floating plants, in floating plants or floating hydrophytes, in floating hydrophytes, stomata are present at the adaxial region, at the adaxial region, not abaxial region, that is called adaxial region. What is called adaxial region? It is the upper surface of the leaf. Suppose this is a leaf, this is the structure of a leaf, and this is the upper surface and these are the lower surface. So there is no stomata, no stomata in case of what? No floating hydrophytes. But stomata are present at the upper surface. Stomata are present at the upper surface, but there is no stomata at the lower surface. And the upper surface is called adaxial region, and the lower surface is called abaxial region. What it is called? Abaxial. Okay. Now, in floating hydrophytes, stomata are present at the adaxial region. So these are the stomata. In floating hydrophytes, stomata are present at the adaxial region, and such kind of stomata are called epistomatic. Okay, epistomata, and the plants are called epistomatic plants. Okay, so stomata. In submerged plants, stomata are absent. The gaseous exchange takes place through the epidermis of the part of the submerged plant. In case of floating hydrophyte, stomata are present at the adaxial region, that is upper region of the leaf, upper surface of the leaf, not region, upper surface of the leaf. Such kind of stomata are called epistomatic. What it is called? Epistomatic. Epistomatic. Okay. Now, parenchyma. Number 3. Number 3 is parenchyma. What is called parenchyma? It is a modified tissue. It is a modified tissue which is present in the submerged plant, it is a modified tissue which is present in the submerged plant, basically in stem and leaves. When the parenchyma, what happens in parenchyma? It holds the air for the maintains the buoyancy. It holds the air to help to maintain the buoyancy and helps to stand the plant upright. Which kind of tissue? That is parenchyma, which it is completely filled with gases, which helps to maintain the buoyancy and helps the plant to stand upright in case of aquatic plants of hydrophytes. Okay? Parenchyma. Next is number 4, conducting tissue. Remember it. In case of aquatic plant, conducting tissues are not well developed. However, phloem is developed. However, little bit of phloem are developed. But in case of xylem, it is not completely well developed due to the absence of which kind of substances? Lignin. Due to the absence of lignin, in case of aquatic plant of xylem is not well developed, but phloem is little bit developed. Okay, conducting tissue. In aquatic plants, in hydrophytes, conducting tissue, xylem lacking of which substances? Lignin. Xylem lacking of lignin, but phloem is completely developed, but phloem is developed. Okay, conducting tissue. But in case of hydrophytes conducting tissue, some parts of xylems are not well developed or poorly developed due to the absence of lignin, but the phloem is completely developed, which helps to maintain for the translocation of food. Clear? Now, so these are the anatomical adaptations of hydrophytes. Now, some parts are left from the ecological adaptations are mesophytes, xerophytes, okay, which I will be discussing you in the next class. Okay, till then it's over.